At a first glance, the 2022 Minnesota Vikings seem impressive. They finished the regular season at 13-4, clinched the NFC North for the first time since 2017, and with an offense that possesses 3 Pro Bowlers, which includes possibly the best receiver in the NFL, they have a real shot at making a Super Bowl run, right? Well, here's where things get weird. Despite their record, the Vikings have been outscored by their opponents this season. What? That doesn't make any sense. The 8-9 Packers, who missed the playoffs, have been outscored by slightly less than the 13-4 Vikings. To add to these absurdities, Kirk Cousins threw a career-high 14 interceptions and posted a career-low passer rating and QBR, and the Vikings statistically have one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL. In the 42 years that the analytics site Football Outsiders has been tracking data on NFL teams, the 2022 Vikings are the biggest overperformers in that time span. So how could they possibly be in this position? What are they even good at? And what does this mean for the playoffs? Now, before we dive deeper into it, today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including concerts, festivals, sports, and more. With the NBA, NFL, and NHL seasons in full swing, you're not going to want to miss out. In fact, I'm getting myself ready to go see Luka Doncic play in February. SeatGeek always makes sure that you're getting a good deal. So when you're on the app, look for the green dots. Green means good, and red means bad. And every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the events with swaps. And you know I came through for you guys. Use my code KTO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. Make sure to click the link in the description to download the app. Okay, let's get straight to the question. How did the Vikings finish 13-4 and manage to be outscored by their opponents? Well, when this team lost, they got crushed. Their average losing margin was 22.2 points a game. This is the largest average losing margin in the NFL this season. To the opposite of that, the Vikings ranked in the top 5 for smallest winning margin at around 5 to 6 points a game. When you compare them statistically to similar teams record-wise, they come out on the bottom. And they compare more similarly to teams with an 8-9 record. Like I said in the intro, in the 42 years that the analytics site Football Outsiders has been tracking data, the 2022 Vikings are the biggest overperformers in that time span. And the main reason why they said this is because of their discrepancy between their record and their team's DVOA, which is basically a metric that compares the success on each play to the league average based on down and distance with adjustments for situations and opponents. I'll leave a link in the description for a more in-depth explanation if you're interested. But in regards to that analytic, they rank 27th in the NFL. Now, despite all of these things that I've mentioned above, Minnesota still finished 13-4, and it could all be boiled down to what happened on a regular basis in clutch time.
29 yards, by the way, was the long play today for this Minnesota offense. Cousins, he's got him, touchdown, it's Osborne again.
Fields, underneath, he finds the former Viking Amir Smith-Marset,
And it's stripped away by Kinsler.
Cousins for the other way, and in the end zone, Dalvin Cook hauls it in for a Viking touchdown.
Zero breathing room, he tries to sneak it, the ball is loose, impossible. Do the Vikings have it? Scrambled for the ball. It is a touchdown.
In 2022, despite all their negative stats that I've said, the Vikings were the best fourth quarter team in the NFL. They led the league in fourth quarter points scored, and their atrocious defense all of a sudden became a top 10 unit when it mattered most. Could this be highlighted any better than their game versus the Colts, where after going down 33-0 at halftime, Minnesota came all the way back to win, which is the largest comeback in NFL history. Also, remember how I said that Kirk Cousins had all those career lows this season? Well, he was good enough to make the Pro Bowl, and this was in large part due to his league-leading 8 fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives. That is insane. And while they made plenty of clutch plays, they also had their fair share of luck. Kicker Greg Joseph, despite having the 28th best kicking percentage in the NFL and only connecting on 40% of 50-plus yarders, he hit a 61-yarder to win. And on the contrary, one of their opponents had a double doink from the same distance. And then how about Josh Allen fumbling on his own goal line, giving the Vikings the lead and eventual win? Out of all the teams in the NFL, Vikings fans bared witness to some of the most bizarre and wild moments of the year. And I'll just leave some of the comments I found below by fans. So ultimately, as this fan pointed out, this model of winning isn't exactly sustainable, yet the Vikings stayed winning close games. Since the 1970 NFL merger, the range of winning percentages in one-score games among the NFL's 32 teams is around 40 to 57%, and somehow the Vikings didn't lose a single one-score game. So now that we've covered how this team is in the position they're in, what does this mean for the playoffs? While researching this video, I found a Reddit post by Who Else, Jaguar Gator 9, where he laid out every NFL team to make the playoffs with a negative point differential from 1978 to 2014. I went ahead and added the teams from 2015 to now, and in that time span, 47 teams have made the playoffs with a negative point differential, and out of those 47, only 3 have advanced to the conference championship. And from those, 1 Super Bowl champion has emerged. So what does this mean for the Vikings? Well, it's hard to really say based on one analytic. What we know about them is, number 1, they have the best record in NFL history with a negative point differential. Secondly, when the games are close, they somehow win, saving their best for the fourth quarter. But despite this, when they lose bad. And most stats historically aren't on their side when it comes to making a playoff run. But hey, this is part of the beauty of the NFL. If you make the playoffs, you got a shot. It doesn't matter how you got there. If you can string together a few games and maybe get a big catch or two, anything is possible.
4-point game. Kirk Cousins back to throw on 4th and 18. He's given time. He wants Jefferson. Climbs the ladder.